Okay, welcome my beautiful people. So today we are making cone tutorials, right? So I see illustration of people just keeping their fabric like this. And then again, please, you people have to forgive me. I don't do anything without pattern. So I don't know. All my work in my shop, I do with pattern. And I must tell you that with this new trend of fashion designing, you can't really achieve much if you don't work with pattern. So I like working with pattern. Whatever I plot here, you know the benefit of pattern make drafting, all the mistakes you make it here. If I make mistake on this pattern, I quietly discard this pattern and bring another one. So when transferring to my fabric, I'm transferring the correct thing and there is no way you are going to make mistake. Okay, so let's go into this tutorial. Now I see people plotting this cone flare on straight piece, except you want to cut some corners and there are some things for you to do. But before I show you those things for you to do to be able to cut on straight fabric, I will just like to teach you how to cut it as a flare. Now if you learn how to cut it as a flare, you will now appreciate the fact that it can never be cut straight. Do you understand? If you want to cut it straight, yes, you can cut it straight and you can get that effect. But please and please, when you want to cut something like this, you have to close your eyes to a lot of things. So I'm going to be showing you how to cut this comb flare on flare. Cut it as a flare and how to manage your pattern. Now, this whatever I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be working with a kid's ball gown, but the same way I cut for the kids ball gown, a child's ball gown, that's the way you can want also the way you will follow if you want to cut for for an adult. Do you understand? So now the essence of cone, we all know what a cone is. So this is a picture of a cone. This is the shape that is called cone shape, right? So now we have transferred this shape now to what? To fashion. And we are deciding to make cones, a cone flare. Now, when making a cone flare, you can have it comes in panels. That means I'll be having shapes like this joined together to form a flare of a dress. Do you understand? I want to have these shapes formed into a flare. Now, the effect is what is different from a flare gown. Do you understand? So now we'll go ahead to plot this pattern. I want to tell you that when plotting this fabric, we need our waist measurement. Know it that in between the cones is going to be a group of cones like this, joined together like this, joined together. Now, in between these cones, I'll be having 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch at the waistline. Okay, now it depends on how many cones you want. Okay, that will give you how many 1.5 inch you are adding. Now let's assume I want to have 4 cones. Okay, or let me not make it 4 cones. Okay, do you now see how many cones I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm telling you that in between these 8 cones on my waistline, I want to have 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches amongst them because I want to use it as what? As a dart. I'm going to be having 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch. So the 1.5 inch I'm going to be adding to this my waist measurement because it's my waist measurement that made this cone. My waist measurement is going to be 30. Now I want to add 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch in between the cones. Do you understand? So we all know I'm going to be having 8 cones, right? I want to have the less if you make it 4, 5, 6, the cone effect will not really show and the cones will be big. So the minimum you can use is 8 cones. So if you are using 8 cones, you are going to be having 1.5 into 8 places. And 1.5 into 8 places is 12 inches. Okay, I'm going to be having 1.5 in between the cones, and that's going to be giving me 12 inches, right? So I'll be doing that 12 inch plus my waist measurement. My waist measurement is 30 inches plus that 12 inches I have 42 inches. So I'm going to be looking for the radius, which is what I have on the screen here. And whatsoever I get, I'm looking at the radius. I'm looking for the radius. So whatsoever I get is what I'm going to be marking out here. Okay, and this is what I got. Okay, so I will be measuring that thing I got all round, all round, all round, and then I will connect like we used to connect our flame. Okay, and so I connect. Now I'm going to use my ruler to divide this particular place I'm seeing. That is, this thing I'm doing is, if you are going to be looking, if your cone is going to be 8, so I want to explain my cone being 8, so from there you can understand why how you can make it 16, how you can make it 20, no matter the number of cones you want to use. I want to work on 8 cones for now. So I'm going to be dividing this particular page we are seeing into 2. Can you see it? Now another thing we are going to be determining is the length of our cone. Okay, do we want it to be you can go as high as 43 inches, any number you want it to, any length you want it to be, but for this my beautiful kid, I want it to be 10 inches, and my 10 inches ended right here. Okay, so I'll connect. Can you see? Now when you connect, because it's a cone, right, you will come up here by like 1 inch or 2 inches or wherever you are comfortable. Okay, then you will slant it out this way. Okay, this is for the edge. Now ordinarily this is our waist, but you can remember I told you this waist is over by what, 12 inches. Now I'm going to be removing that 1.5 I told you I will be removing from the waist, because that's going to be the dart of the cone. Okay, if you do this thing the way I'm doing it now, your cone will form very sweetly. Okay, now I will now be removing my that from the waistline, which is 1.5, and 1.5 into 2 places, because of this line I have divided into 1.5 into 2 places is going to be what, is going to be 7.5. So I'm going to be measuring 7.5 on each side of this line. Okay, coming here again, I measure and I remove 1.5. Can you see? Now I'm going to be connecting it like so to where the dart is supposed to, which is like 3 inches or 4 inches, anyhow you want it to be, but shall just remove this 1.5 from this waist, and that's what I'm doing. And make sure the length you are removing should be equal for the whole line. Can you see it? Can you see what I have done from this side? Remember that we are going to still go up here by 2 inches or 1 inch, the way you wanted it. And you connect nicely, and then you take your scissors and you cut. So if you want it to be 4 cones, then there's no need of using this part. But if you want it to be 8 cones, then you have to use this part. Okay. That means you are not going to be cutting here, trimming here. Okay. Can you see it? So all you need to do now is just join you don't need to cut into these ones, these areas. These areas will be joined. I've made a mistake. I would have loved you to see it without this area cut. So you now have 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4 cones. But I'm telling you that if you want your flay to flay out very, very well, you have to make it, the minimum you can go for is 8 inches. Now, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4.
Okay.
So when you are done cutting, this is exactly what you are going to have. So you are joining this waist. This is your waist now, 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 your waist now. So that 1.5 inch you remove from here, here, and here. That's why I say you are removing 1.5 inch into 8 places. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you remove 1.5 inches into 8 places. That 1.5 inch that you removed into 8 places will definitely add to this thing standing and spreading. I see people cutting there straight. Don't cut it straight. Remove something from this waist. That is what will gather it and make it have a dart. The dart you are going to be removing is going to be in 8 places. If you don't remove that dart in 8 places, your cone will not cone well. That is what makes this thing different from a flay gown, because if you don't remove that 1.5 inch at the middle, you will end up getting almost the same effect as if you made a flay, normal flay. But when you remove that 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch, it will make it to stand. Do you understand? Now, another thing is this place that you have already covered is going to be forming a cone, making it to form a cone. So all you need to do in this aspect is, while you are cutting out, while you are placing this on your fabric to cut out, right? While you are placing this on your fabric to cut out, just add 1/2 inch allowance all around it, so you can use 1/2 inch to join it. Now, on this particular area, when making a child's ball gown, I will advise you not to bend this hem. Don't bend this hem. Look for trimming and use it to end the hem, because no matter what you do, because of the cone effect, do you understand the cone effect? Because of that cone effect, no matter what you do, it will have a little bit of issue, and that's where the finishing of your gown will start having issues from. So I always advise, look for any sequence trimming and use it as the hem. Don't bend this hem. Just take it to the people that do weaving and let them do industrial weaving for you all around, then use something to design this thing. Now, after joining, make sure that you are going to use either strong stay at the hem line, so that your hemming will have standing. Now, if you use, another thing that is going to spoil this your cone design is your choice of fabric. If you use soft crepe, my sister, you will not get it. If you use duchess, my sister, it will not come out well. So I always advise people, is either you are using damask, brocade, mikado, any strong, but that, of course, you should be using beautiful. I'm not going to be telling you now not to use chinos. Of course, you know that chinos is out of it. So use beautiful fabric to make it. You can see what they have used here. This is just the secret. Then at the end of the day, when you have finished joining it, join it to your upper bodies, normal way you join your flay. Everything you know you do to a flay, that's what you do. But the only difference between this cone and your normal flay is that there is a deduction from the waist point. Now, if you want your own cone to be more than, I see people saying determine the wideness you want for you. I won't do that if I were you. Let this flay use its hand to determine what is going to be the cone. So let this dart that you removed here be what will determine the wideness. Let the cutting be what will determine the wideness of your cone. Now let's talk about how to manage fabric. Now, when plotting, when we were plotting, we did this, right? Fold your fabric. The only fabric you are going to waste is what I'm going to be showing you now, because this cone helps you to manage your fabric. You and I know that when cutting out your flame, right? You and I know that when cutting out your flame, once you have marked your flame like so, we know that here is all pieces, but a cone will help you to manage. Now, when making out your cone, okay, when plotting out your cone, for you that is in the ready to wear business and you want to manage fabric, so when plotting out your cone, you know you have something like this, right? You have something like this. So I will suggest, as you are plotting out, after you have plotted the first one, just cut out this one. Don't cut any other one. Forget about all this place. Now you will be working with only this one. What it means is that you are cutting this particular piece in 8 places. So no matter how you place it, no problem. No matter how you place it, no problem. Now, cone is not respecter of any grid line, of any, when some normally when you are cutting your fabric, if you have placed your pattern like this to cut, this is the way you are going to be cutting it. Don't bend your hand, you understand? But when making cone, don't worry about it. Just place, just make sure there's no this thing. Place, cut like this, place, cut like this, place, cut like this. That way you will manage your fabric. All in all, however you are cutting, make sure you cut this pattern in 8 places, and at the end of the day, join it. So that is how to cut out your cone design, and that's just basically it. If you do not still understand, let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video.